This is going to be video 2, or part 2, on my series of the Italian 1891 Carcano rifle. And what we're going to do here is we're going to look at the 1891 long rifle. This is the standard infantry rifle. This one here was manufactured in 1918, is the barrel date. And there were several manufacturers that manufactured them during the war. Tereni, where this is made, manufactured this model up until 1936. Then from 1936 to 1941, Beretta, supposedly in the chart, produced the long rifles. And these are the ones with the 30.7 inch barrels on here. And it's a basic Mannlicher bolt action with a split bridge receiver. This has the sights that kind of are reminiscent of like the 1870 or earlier sight, the Italian sights. You see a lot of black powder cartridge guns hit sights similar to this. And we'll go more into that when we look at sights. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change the camera angle, and we're going to get down, look at the receiver, the bolt, how we load it, and everything else, and take a closer look at it. Now we're going to take a close look at the action. Now all of the Carcanos have basically the same bolt action mechanism. There's a slight variance in the extractor on the bolt, but they're all the same. They function the same, other than the carbines, and some of them have a bent handle instead of a straight handle. Now, like I said, it's a split bridge receiver, and the German 1888 commission rifle, the Dutch Mannlicher rifle, and there's a few others that have the same bolt system. The bolts are different, but it's the same type of an action. The bolt handle comes through the split on a bridge. That's why it's called a split bridge. Now, on the gun, usually on these flats, here's the serial number, would be here. The manufacturer will be here, usually, and on this flat would be the date. It could be in Roman numerals or whatever, or written in Arabic, but basically that's where most of your markings are. The receiver doesn't have any markings on it. Alright, so how the bolt works, I'll get it out first. How you take the bolt out is clear the weapon, make sure it's empty. Now, on your 88 and your Dutch rifle, there's a little button here that you press and will release the bolt. That isn't on this. This is more of a simplified version. You pull the bolt back and depress the trigger, and it comes out when you drop the sear. It's basically just got two locking lugs. Pretty simple. And here's they call it the old style extractor, which is pressed in there. When we take a look at the bolt variances, it's the only modification is there's another style extractor. And that's about it. To place the bolt back in, you just line it up, pull the trigger, and the bolt goes back into the rifle. Now, Carcano is the guy that did all the fine tuning on this final design, the bolt especially. This bolt's a little bit different. The safety's located here. It's this tab right here on the side. When you press it in, twist it upwards. Now what's nice about this is when the gun's on safe, when you pick it up to sight it in, this blocks your view of the sight, so you know the gun is on safe, which is pretty soldier friendly, usually when you're under attack and panic. And that's your safe. You push forward and over, and then the gun fires. Now, it uses the standard in-block Mannlicher style clip, and the odd thing about the Italian Carcano is it holds 6 rounds. Now, this is designed, I'll get the other clips and show you here in a second. Okay. Alright, this here is for the 1888 Mannlicher straight pull rifle. And it's 8x50. It's a rim case, and the way it works is you got these grasping grooves that only goes one way into the magazine. You can't go 2 ways. Now the Germans, when they developed the 88 Commission rifle, they liked the idea, but they used a rimless case, and this is the 8mm for the 88 Commission. They use a rimless case, and that's their clip, but this clip is designed where if you look at the Mannlicher or the Austrian one, you can see where the one tab is. This clip is designed with the thing in the center. It can go in either way. So no matter which way you put it in, it'll go in and lock. The Italians liked the idea, and when they designed the cartridge, I went over that in the first video, they went with 6.5mm because they didn't like the large 8. And they went with a rimless case. So now they can use the same type of a modified clip like the Germans that'll go in either way, and instead of 5 they went with 6 rounds. Exactly why, I don't know, because as you can see, you know, you are adding an extra round. You got to make the thing longer, the clip there, and it's a standard Mannlicher clip. You lock it down in there, there's your release, and then when the last round's stripped off, it drops out of the hole in the bottom. And basically you just put it in and until it locks. Then you have your button here, which to unload the gun, you just press that and out comes your clip. So, standard deal, simple, and it works. It works and it's effective. The only shortcoming of this system is with this open hole in the bottom, dirt and debris can get in and cause problems with malfunctioning or clogging the gun. That's about the only shortcoming. And this is 7.35 ammo, and it's a little bit different. They tried to modernize it. And a lot of times people say that the black clips are for the 7.35 because I had a bunch of ammo, surplus ammo, and that's where I got these black clips, other than these brass colored ones. They'll work with either or caliber. That doesn't really matter. These clips will work in either gun, in either caliber. And because you can make 7.35 ammo from 6.5 brass if you had to. Okay, so that covers the clips in that and the bolt. Now we're going to go to the sight. If you look at the sight, it's kind of reminiscent of the older style. This big ramp type thing that comes up like this. You'll see this on the Austrian guns. The Italian 1870 series has a similar sight, and it kind of is a carryover. So when you run the sight down all the way here, I guess it's at 500 yards because the first notch up is 6, meaning 600 yards. Now how this sight works is that's probably your battle sight at 500 yards. And if you notice in the handguard there's this notch here. Well, you press into the button, flip the sight all the way over, and the sight will drop down into the notch like this. Now you got your fixed sight here, which is supposedly your close range sight. Now if you look at it, it's a pretty deep groove in there. And when you look at the sight, I mean, if you lined it up at the top or to the bottom of the groove, it's a very large distance to move. It's a pretty healthy notch in there. I'd say, you know, it's almost a 1/4 inch deep. So I believe at close range you're supposed to use this fixed sight, and you kind of use Kentucky windage either by putting front sight posts at the very bottom very close and then all the way up top for 300 yards or 400 yards, I'm not sure. But that's something you got to work on or work with to try to figure out where the gun shoots. We'll look at the different sights in a separate video and try to cover them all at once and show you what the difference is. Because you either have an adjustable type of sight or you have a fixed sight, which is similar, which started with the 1938 model rifles. So basically that's your action and your sight. Now we'll move on to the bayonet. Okay, the bayonet for the model 1891 long rifle. The bayonets come, earlier ones I think will have a leather scabbard with brass tips. This has a steel scabbard. This is one my great uncle brought home with a Trooper Special rifle that one of my relatives ended up with. But I ended up with the bayonet. And it's just your basic bayonet. Has the button on the back, which you press the wedge and it locks on. And this bayonet will fit on any type Carcano rifle. It basically looks like this, basically just a plain barrel with a lug and a cleaning rod. Now the cavalry guns have a folding bayonet, so you know where that is. The Trooper Specials, now the early ones up until World War I had a different bayonet, okay? The early Troop Specials will have a bar or something on the barrel up front on the little guns. And that'll go in, you have to twist it on sideways, I guess, or something like that. But the Model 91s, this will fit on the 9141. And also any of the Trooper Specials that have this style bayonet lug and cap with a little cleaning rod. Basically, you know, like all bayonets, you line it up on the thing, give it a shove down, and there it is. That's your knife style bayonet. And like I said, this fits on all the long rifles and most of the Trooper Specials other than the original unmodified ones. They use a special bayonet, which I've seen pictures of them, but I've never actually seen one up close. So that about covers the bayonet and accessories. Or I don't know if there was any other accessories for the rifle, but that's all I have here. Maybe any different. So I guess now we'll go on to, sorry for that little moment there, but that's it for the 1891 long rifle. Now we're going to go on to another variation.